Jill Bell with Salon Centric, and I wanted to start a series of videos with some of my clients featuring different salon settings and just letting you guys all get to hear from each other. I think that that's something that most of you would love to be able to do, but you're working so hard behind the chair every day and don't get to get out necessarily talk to your peers about what's going on in their world. So I'm here with Betsy Witt.
Hi guys!
And she is currently in a Sola suite. And so we're going to do the first segment called The Suite Life. So I think one of the biggest things that people kind of, are leery about ever being in a suite setting is some of the challenges that you have. Tell me about some of those that maybe you have encountered and how you overcame those.
Sure. So as I was telling Jill, one of the hardest things to do is to brand yourself and create this brand of who you are and what your origin is and what's your why, if you will. So you want to sell that to your guest as a one-of-a-kind experience, and why do they want to come to you? What makes you special and what makes you different than anybody else? What makes you stand out? So that is definitely one of the challenges, as well as making enough money to cover your bills and things like that behind the chair. But if you can tap into that little niche of who you are for your guest, you're able to go above and beyond.
Absolutely. And I think that something I've observed you be very successful at is selling retail. And a portion of how you do that is through your consultation. So
Yes.
Walk us through your consultation and how that leads to retail sales for you.
Well, I believe a consultation should definitely be an experience for the guest and how you're going to relate to them on a personal level as well as a professional level. If that means that they have some ideas that they found online or on a blog or whatever, we need to explain to them why that may be a good idea or a bad idea, and how we can achieve that look or that desire for them in a way that is relatable to them on a personal and beautiful level.
And I think you have to be really honest in that consultation,
Absolutely.
which is not always easy.
No.
And I'm sure you find yourself playing a lot of different roles.
Absolutely. Definitely a
Yeah.
therapist, a friend, family. Sometimes you need to go let their cat or dog out if they're out of town. Sometimes you need to be there through a bad breakup, or if they just are going through big changes. We don't want them to lob off all their hair because they're getting a divorce. We want them to feel inspired and find that root of who they are. So.
Wow, Betsy Witt, going above and beyond, letting your cat and dog out. Who knew? So you mentioned branding.
Yes.
How do you do that? I wish everyone could see how awesome, but you can just see the wall that she's done herself, and it's beautiful and creative and one of a kind, like you mentioned. How have you branded yourself, and how important is that in a suite setting?
I definitely think those that know me would understand I have a totally different way of thinking. Sometimes very crazy, and sometimes it just doesn't make sense to anybody but me. And whether it be my staff or other people that know me, they will tell you it's different. So it's a process, and you really have to go back to your roots. And for example, my wall of roots and plants all came to me through my branding, which everything revolving around my brand is around the bee, the bumblebee. And my good friend once said, "You're just like a bee. You constantly move and you work so hard to make things beautiful." And for whatever reason, that sparked me to create my brand, Lavender Bee Betsy. And it's just so important to figure out who you are and why you want that one thing to inspire other people to follow you.
That's awesome, and I think that it creates a very unique experience for your
Absolutely.
customers. It makes them wanting to come back and see what you've done and what you're up to next,
Yes.
and really get to know you on a personal level.
Yes.
That said, you get to be your own boss, which is super cool and probably a lot of hard work. So tell us a little bit about how that's been for you.
I worked for a corporation for a very long time prior to owning the Lavender Room Salon with my partner, Emily Dunwoody. And we together were responsible for going from something that was mapped out for us to taking all the reins off and just letting loose into who we are as artists, meaning that we can decorate our suite however we want, we can carry whatever products we want, we can sell ourselves to our guests to the best of our abilities so that it makes sense to them and encourages them to come back, to refer their friends, do all those things. And that's what builds our business. That's what's successful for us.
So you mentioned that you had been in a bigger salon setting.
Yes.
And now you're in a suite. Tell us what advice you would give to someone else who's contemplating that jump.
Definitely jump in. It is really, really hard, I feel like, when you're on the edge, because there's that safety net that working for a corporation where you know exactly what to expect every day, you know exactly how things are going to be, and that's great for some artists and that works for some artists. But for those of you that are out there waiting to, take it on and challenge yourselves to grow, and you want more as an artist, you're able to all of a sudden make those dreams come true. Where for me, it gave me a chance to build my own little dollhouse and to create my own world for people to step into. And it's constantly changing, constantly growing. And that's the best part of being able to do those things. You take on a new brand, you share the new trends, you're able to constantly stay on top of the hustle and bustle of everyday life so that you can make that change.
And what a fun little world you've created.
Yes.
I love the dollhouse, as you call it. And I so appreciate your time and getting to share your story with everyone out there. And we would love to hear your feedback and comments. And if you would like to reach out to Betsy, you can reach her at
lavenderbebetsy.com, or you can also contact me on any of the social media sites at lavenderbebetsy. Thanks so much for having me. It was my pleasure to be here, and I'm happy to help all of you jump in.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.